Welcome to our special live broadcast from Jammu as we are witnessing this historic swearing in of a new government, an unlikely but historic alliance between the BJP and the PDP, once ideological foes, today partners. The Prime Minister, of course, is in attendance. As he walked onto the stage, he was received with a rousing applause from the full auditorium, which has a seating capacity of 1,500 people. In fact, the auditorium jumped to its feet to receive him, in a sense, with everybody on their feet, everybody standing to receive the Prime Minister. As you can see in those shots on the stage, you have the entire top brass of the BJP leadership as well as the PDP leadership on stage. Among the BJP leaders who are here are L.K. Advani and Murli Manohar Joshi, the old guard, giving its blessings, I guess, to the new coalition. There is, of course, Amit Shah, the BJP party president. There's Ram Madhav, who's co-authored the agenda for the alliance with Hasib Drabu of the PDP, who's expected to be sworn in as the next finance minister of the state. Of course, Mufti Mohammed Saeed is now officially the chief minister on this windy Jammu morning. As you can see, it's an overcast sky, but still it's a new ray of sunshine and hope for the state, notwithstanding the grim weather. Nirmal Singh, the deputy chief minister of the state, has also taken oath. Now, the chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir, speaking to me earlier, said this was like bringing the North Pole and the South Pole together. So when opposites attract, can it create a sustainable relationship? That's what we'll be asking our guests today. Let's introduce, in fact, our guests as we stay on those pictures with the Prime Minister and Amit Shah here in attendance for the swearing in of the Mufti Mohammed Saeed government. Mufti Mohammed Saeed sworn in as Chief Minister, Nirmal Singh to be the Deputy Chief Minister. Sajad Lone, former separatist-turned-politician, is also here, but Omar Abdullah of the National Conference and his party conspicuously absent. We had reported earlier that they were miffed at not being given a personal invite from Mufti Mohammed Saeed, who had done so with all other parties. Our guests today will start getting brief comments and then bring you our interviews with the key newsmakers as well. From the BJP, Sambit Patra; from the Congress, Salman Soos; from the PDP, from Srinagar, we joined by journalist turned politician Zafar Miraj. And in the Delhi studios is General Atta Hasnain, who served as Corps Commander here in the Valley, and Dr. Radha Kumar, who has of course been one of the interlocutors for the Jammu and Kashmir peace process. I'll first get comments from Zafar and Sambit. Sambit, I'll start with you. Did you ever think this would happen? And while this is so historic, and I've been seeing the state for 20 years, and I certainly never thought this would happen, questions will persist to the BJP of how much you had to compromise on 370, on the Armed Forces Special Powers Act to make this moment possible.
Nibarka, it's very historic. I mean, in the sense that you yourself, while narrating the whole event right now, had said that the North Pole and the South Pole have come together. I would not go to the extent of saying that the North Pole and the South Pole have come together, but definitely the stakeholders of the Jammu and Kashmir politics, in fact, had gone into a huddle of discussion after the kind of mandate that we had seen in the recent assembly elections held in Jammu and Kashmir. And it's the beauty of democracy in India that to deliver governance, if parties with different ideologies come together on the ground of minimum program to see to it that the three major concerns of people of Jammu and Kashmir, that is development, peace and rehabilitation, is addressed on common grounds, then I believe this is something which is the beauty of Indian democracy and is hardly seen anywhere else. And that's the reason as to why I call it historic time and again.
And of course, the BJP sharing the government for the first time, Sambit, in the history of Jammu and Kashmir. Nirmal Singh, who's going to be the Deputy Chief Minister, is also the first BJP minister in the state. And Zafar Miraj, what is the political significance of this unlikely relationship? Can we say that when saffron meets green, with white in between, as Naeem Akhtar Saab said to me this morning, if you think of the colors of the Indian flag, these are the colors of peace today, or at least a hope for peace?
Barkat, is really a defining moment for Jammu and Kashmir. The two parties which are poles apart and which have different ideologies coming together on a common minimum program, reaching to a common minimum program, which aims at welfare and the development of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, all the three regions. Let me tell you frankly, before elections, it was not imagined by anybody here, even BJP or PDP or anybody, that the two parties, that a situation will arise, that the two parties will have to come together. But definitely BJP and PDP both, their leadership has demonstrated enough ensure the maturity in reaching together and in arriving an arrangement or agreement, whatever you say, on the contentious issues like Article 370, like 370, like AFSA, and special status of Jammu and Kashmir within the Indian Union. And especially the focus has been now on the development of the state, Jammu and Kashmir, which has been very, very slow in meeting the challenges of the new century, 21st century, which we are in.
And it's interesting, Zafar Saab, to hear you and Sambit both talk about. Yes, it's interesting to hear both you and the BJP leader today both speak about development. But I want to also discuss in a little moment from now the ideological balancing that both of you will have to do. As we said, for our viewers who are just tuning in, the swearing in is on. Mufti Mohammed Saeed is now officially the Chief Minister. Nirmal Singh to be the Deputy Chief Minister. The National Conference has stayed away. Sajad Lone, separatist-turned-politician, is here. We'll be playing out our interview with him in a moment from now. But Salman Soz, while the BJP's leadership is here in full throttle, so to speak, we're not seeing the big leaders of the Congress, and the National Conference is completely kept away. Do you think that's mature? Do you believe that for the sake of India, we should have also seen perhaps the Congress president or the big Congress leaders here in attendance as well?
Well, first, let me congratulate the two parties for this day, for forming the government. We look forward to a mature, clean and efficient government in J&K, because that is much needed. So I wish them all the best. I'm not really sure of who's participating on behalf of the Congress. So I don't know what invitations went out. But, you know, as far as the Congress party is concerned, we welcome the formation of the government, because the people of the state need an elected government. And that is why we wish them the best. There is I don't think anybody should read anything into the absence of any of our top leaders. Maybe they were not invited, maybe there was something, but I'm sure the Congress party is participating.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Mufti Mohammed Saeed met with Dr. Manmohan Singh in Delhi. I think he also reached out to Ghulam Nabi Azad. And in fact, sources close to Omar Abdullah making the point that Mufti Saab reached out to the Congress but not to the NC. Omar Abdullah not here. Before I get reactions from General Hasnain and Radha Kumar, I just want to bring you our interview with some of the key minds in this campaign from the PDP as well as Sajad Lone. There was a lot of will he, won't he, will he show up, won't he show up. Do remember the Sajad Lone was a separatist. He was the first to field proxy candidates in Jammu and Kashmir in 2002. He then jumped into the electoral fray himself. His brother is still with the Kashmiri separatist group, the Hurriyat Conference. He's married to a Pakistani who is the daughter of the JKLF founder, Amanullah Khan. So there are many ironies here, and Sajad Lone is here. He, along with the PDP senior leadership, Naeem Akhtar and Altaf Bukhari, spoke to me a short while ago. I have here of the PDP, Altaf Bukhari, and of course Naeem Akhtar, who has not just been the chief spokesperson but also the veteran of the PDP. And if the camera just turns left there, we'll show you that there was question marks. Will Sajad Lone be here, not be here? Well, he is here. He's going to be part of the oath taking as well, the People's Conference, of course. Please, and his colleague Bashir is also there. Sajad Saab, please join us here on this historic day in Jammu and Kashmir. And congratulations to all of you. Let me start with you, Naeem Saab. इस दिन का significance. What is the significance? किसी ने सोचा ही नहीं था. मैं तो 20 साल से ये स्टेट को देख रही हूँ. मैंने तो कभी सोचा ही नहीं था कि ऐसे हो सकता.
This is a big day, and nobody had ever, in his wildest dreams, thought of this. But I think Mufti Saab and the national leadership, Modi ji, and they are on a journey, I suppose, to turn around Kashmir. Yeah, you must have seen the wide range of discussions that Mufti Saab has held in Delhi. Everybody from Dr. Manmohan Singh to L.K. Advani to Sonia Gandhi and others.
So you believe this is a turning point?
We hope so. This is a turning point. This could be a meeting of minds between Jammu and Kashmir and rest of the country, which has been, in spite of the accession, been missing so far.
I want to ask you a few questions about that, but let me get first thoughts from you, Sajad. You were among the first to meet with Mr. Narendra Modi. You said he's like my brother. That time aapko kafi galiyan mili from sections in the valley. Today, here you are, part of the Jammu and Kashmir government, PDP and BJP in partnership. How politics changes?
नहीं, साइज हमारा थोड़ा छोटा है, दिमाग थोड़ा बड़ा है.
तो आप कह रहे हैं कि आपने पहले ही सोचा था कि ऐसा हो सकता है?
Look, I think it's a turning point, because you see BJP represents a certain edge of the political divide in the rest of the country. And it's coming to J&K for the first time. And there's a very able leadership, and especially I will name, there's the old leadership, the old guard is still here. And I think to negotiate this entry of BJP for the first time in J&K and strike an optimum trade-off, I think this is probably the best time.
Naim Sahab, Article 370, the PDP has got an assurance that the constitutional status will not be changed. How is this a big victory you see, or some would say PDP के लिए भी climb down है? आप self rule की बात करते थे, आज आप status quo पे आ गए.
In fact, it's part of the self-rule that we always asserted and reasserted that you can't fiddle with this. Now that the central government, the parliament has been told that this is there to stay, we have always said that whatever is available to within the constitution to Jammu and Kashmir is enough if we can use it. It's for others to demand more.
What about other ideological differences? Like after the Delhi debacle, the PDP issued a statement saying religious diversity must be maintained, ghar wapsi jaisi jo issues hain, inko band kariye. Will you continue to criticize the BJP when these issues arise?
It's not a question of criticizing, but it's a question of Kashmir contributing to the national discourse.
Yes.
It's not just criticism, it's advising at the level of, I think Mufti Sahib is now one of the oldest statesmen in the country. He's giving a word of advice, he'll continue to do that.
Altaf Sahib, अलायंस चलेगी? सब यही पूछना चाहते हैं कि ये जो एक नॉर्थ पोल साउथ पोल इकट्ठे आ गए हैं, ये क्या ऑपोजिट्स अट्रैक्ट हैं कि ऑपोजिट्स रिपेल होगा eventually?
I don't have any doubt. Mufti Saab's leadership is there, so we'll give it our best. Rest we leave it to God.
You're hopeful?
Yeah, we leave it to God. Rest.
Sajad, आपने कहा साइज छोटा है, दिमाग बड़ा है. Have you been quite upset? You've been maintaining quite a low profile all this while. We were wondering whether you'd be here or not. Now you are here.
No. It's. I have been maintaining a low profile after winning. We just rested for a long time, and no, there was never any doubt that I would be here for the oath-taking ceremony. I was myself amazed at the innuendos that were being that I was reading, especially on Twitter.
Yes.
That was quite. Some of them were quite hilarious. Because
but you are going to be part of the new government.
I have no idea, but to be very honest, I'm there to support this government. Right from day one, I've said we need a stable government, and this combination, irrespective of the differences, gave some semblance of stability to a government. And then Mr. Narendra Modi, he has a development model. I can personally tell you that I was very impressed when I met him, and saw what ideas he has about development.
Since then, there have been some controversies, which I was asking Naim Saab also about. वो RSS chief कभी Mother Teresa को question कर देते हैं, कभी घर वापसी का हो जाता है. तो is this making you a bit concerned, especially about your base in the valley? आपसे भी पूछूंगी बशीर साहब.
Perfect सिर्फ अल्लाह की जात होती है. Human beings always make mistakes, and there is always room for improvement.
But will you speak up when these issues happen? Or now in partnership with the BJP, मुश्किल पड़ जाएगा?
We would all speak up when there is something, but when we want to, not when you want us to.
बशीर साहब, आज की अहमियत?
बहुत important day है, बहुत important day है. This day is a very important day for J&K so far as development is concerned.
Naim Sahab, Armed Forces Special Powers Act पे आप दोनों को पूछूंगी. Have you got an assurance from the BJP that is workable, that satisfies you, Altaf Sahab?
I think we are very clear about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, and you will see for the times to come.
Have you got your way on it?
The CMP is being released in the afternoon. I think I shouldn't presume on that.
Somebody said today is about when saffron meets green. तो किसी और ने कहा ये Indian flag के colors हैं. तो इसको किस तरह से देखा जाए when saffron meets green?
Could be. There's white in between. That means peace all around. And that is what is the dream of the leaders, to turn Kashmir, not just Jammu and Kashmir, but the whole region, into a peaceful region for development.
Sajad, last question to you. As somebody who was a separatist who's now joined mainstream electoral politics, what is the message you'd give to other separatists today?
Well, I can't, obviously, it doesn't mean what I do is the best. But, I'm trying democracy, and I hope I can use this platform to speak up for all those who give a voice to all those who...
Your wife is Pakistani. How does she feel today?
I think she must be happy. Why should she be unhappy?
No, not at all. I didn't mean that at all. Is she here with you?
No. I have only Bashir Saab with me.
Okay, Sajad Lone, Bashir Saab, Naim Akhtar, Altaf Bukhari, the four faces you see here as they're walking off to go inside for their swearing in. Okay, Sajad Lone there joking, I may be a small man but I have big ideas. He was among the first to reach out to the BJP and to meet Narendra Modi at a time when people thought it would politically boomerang for him in the valley, and here he is as part of the next government in partnership with both the PDP and the BJP. Let's get reactions now before we go back to our politicians from General Hasnain and Radha Kumar. General Hasnain, your thoughts this morning? We're of course waiting for that CMP, the Common Minimum Program, to be released. We don't have the fine print of that yet, but the import of this moment, sir.
Well, I would say that I have a small credo for this moment. I would call it savor the moment. Because in the middle of all the positives which are happening here, let's not look at any negatives. And I know a lot of people will be wanting to look at negatives. But I think this is a fantastic, historic moment, history in the making, with all the positives about it. Two regions which have been otherwise divided politically, coming together and hopefully delivering in the future. I look at it as actually the further maturing of Indian politics.
General Hasnain, that said very interestingly, that savor the moment. Radha Kumar, the fact is that questions will be asked, what is the future of the sustainability of this alliance, or do you believe today is a day, as General Saab says, to savor the moment and not be skeptical?
I think that in situations like this, it's never helpful to be skeptical. One must be analytical, however, and independent judgments or questions can always be asked. However, this particular moment that you're talking about is an oath-taking moment. When a new government is sworn in, the first matter of interest always is pleasure that there is a new government in place. Then will come the other questions. Yes. How will this government perform? What are their priorities? I was really pleased, frankly, to hear from Mr. Patra that the emphasis or the priorities are governance, peace and reconciliation. All three of those are such critical elements, and I would honestly look forward with considerable interest to see how soon will we hear what on peace, what on reconciliation, and indeed what on governance.
Absolutely. Okay, now I do want to tell all of our viewers, in case you're wondering why I'm suddenly holding this umbrella, it has begun to pour down here in Jammu, outside the auditorium on the campus of the Jammu University. It's a windswept, cloudy morning, but I have been saying that notwithstanding the gloomy weather, I think the entire state is waiting for a ray of sunshine to emerge from behind the clouds, to say that literally. As the swearing-in goes on, Omar Abdullah has said on Twitter that the BJP leadership, and I want Sambit Patra and Zafar Miraj to come in on this, the BJP leadership today paying allegiance to the same constitution of Jammu and Kashmir. To remind our viewers, J&K does have its own constitution. It's the only state in India to do so. It also has its own flag. On the stage, you will see that there is the national flag, but there is also the state flag, and that is, of course, underlining the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, a status that the BJP has agreed to maintain. Omar Abdullah going on Twitter to say that the BJP today paying allegiance to the same J&K state constitution that Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, their ideological mentor, had opposed so bitterly. Sambit Patra, do you want to come in on Omar's reactions? He's not here. He's on Twitter, obviously watching the ceremony on television. He's decided to stay away. But it's a fair question. The BJP's ideological mentor Shyama Prasad Mukherjee used to say, "Ek desh mein do vidhan, do pradhan aur do nishan nahi chalenge." Today, this state has its own constitution, this state has its own flag, and the BJP has agreed to keep that constitutional status alive. Please respond, Sambit Patra, to Omar's tweet.
I have been listening to all the panelists. Before I respond to what Omar Abdullah has tweeted, I would say that the panelists today, including my friend Salman Soos from Congress, have been mature enough to say that let us savor this movement. The movement comes really quite less in the history of Jammu and Kashmir, when all the stakeholders, that the political parties really want governance. Jammu and Kashmir has been suffering a lot under the politics of the day. But at the end, we see as to how the sunshine that you are speaking about is going to happen in Jammu and Kashmir. And as far as particular question of Mr. Omar Abdullah is concerned, let me tell you categorically, because this is going to crop up every single minute in the debate hereafter, not only in your channel, elsewhere also, there would be no compromise on national interest as far as Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned. The common minimum program is yet to be released. We will wait for the common minimum program to come. I would say that in the common minimum program, at an individual capacity, I would say the word understanding would be more emphatic than the word agreement. There would be certain sectors in which we would have understanding so that we perform well, rather than agreement.
You're saying that there are areas you'll have to agree to disagree on. You're basically saying something, there are areas that you'll have to agree to disagree on. That's why when this
somber movement, that's why when this great movement of coalition, the great movement of vote taking is taking place, let me only smile and say that understanding for the benefit of Jammu and Kashmir is more important than fighting for agreement.
Zafar Miraj, do you agree with that? That in many ways this common minimum program is a framework for governance? That this is not a political meeting of minds. How can it be? You come to politics from a completely different ideology. And a lot of people are wondering, as those differences surface, how will your party, for example, which after the Delhi verdict gave a very strong statement on religious diversity and upholding it, Mufti Sahib has criticized the whole Ghar Wapsi controversy. So as and when these issues arise, what will the PDP do? And I'm asking you this even as the veteran PDP leader Naeem Akhtar has just taken oath, shaking hands with the Prime Minister, who's of course sitting on stage witnessing this historic moment. Zafar Miraj, go ahead.
Barka, let me first start with Omar Abdullah's tweet. I think he should not have been sarcastic. It goes to the credit of BJP leadership to have accepted the political realities which are here in Jammu and Kashmir, a peculiar situation. And as you earlier said, just now my friend from BJP said, or you said, ek vidhan, ek nishan, ek pradhan. But Jammu and Kashmir, we should agree and we should accept it has a peculiar, it has a distinct identity. And I really am thankful to BJP that they have understood it and they have ensured and have vowed that this special status should be preserved of Jammu and Kashmir of state, and it should be further strengthened as my party believes in it. And as far as other issues are concerned, Ghar Wapsi issues are concerned, as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, Barkha, we have entered into an agreement with BJP for the governance, for giving a pro-people government, and as Mr. Modi says, सबका साथ और सबका विकास. इस जम्मू कश्मीर को आज विकास की बहुत जरूरत है. पिछले बरसों में हमने बहुत कुछ खोया है और अगर आज हम हाथ नहीं मिलाते तो कश्मीर आगे की तरफ बहुत सदियों पीछे चले जाती. जैसा कि मुफ्ती में भी कहा है कि लम्हों ने खता की थी, सदियों ने सजा पाई, वही हाल आज हमारा भी होता. और इस तरह से सैलाब के बारे में जो नुकसान हुआ है, इक़्तिसादी माहौल पे जो हमारा बिल्कुल पिछले 6 साल में, पिछले 7 साल में जो कड़े इम्तिहान से गुजरते रहे हैं, उन सब का हल निकालने के लिए ये जो इतिहाद है, ये जो अलायंस है, इसको आना बड़ा जरूरी था. क्योंकि हम स्टेट को उन लोगों के हाथ में फिर से देना नहीं चाहते हैं जिनके हाथ खून से रंगे हुए हैं या जिनके हाथ काले हुए हैं करप्शन और बेईमानी से.
Let me get Salman Soz to come in there. Impassioned words from Zafar Miraj. Salman, BJP and PDP saying this is not the time for the national conference to be sarcastic.
Well, you know, I cannot speak for the national conference. I think this is frankly beyond the usual governance. I think, and I know there are lots of differences between these two political parties. They don't really have to deal with the really contentious issues that much. But there is a historic opportunity to heal the rift between Jammu and Kashmir. There is a rift, there is no doubt about it. And I think if these two political parties really work hard on that, that's why I use the term mature, they can heal the rift because J&K needs that rift to be healed. So beyond the governance, beyond even say flood rehabilitation and recovery, reconstruction, which is very important to our people, I think the healing of that rift would be very, very helpful if that can be done, if these two parties can come together and try to bring the state, you know, make it more unified and united. That would be terrific. I pray for that.
I think I'm happy to not hear a party politics kind of statement from you, Salman, because I think Jammu and Kashmir is not like any other state in India, and I think we should all acknowledge that today on this historic day. General Hasnain, as a Fauji, questions are going to be asked over how far the BJP has moved on the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Having seen a draft of the CMP, I can tell you that my understanding is that there's a move to replace the army with the police and paramilitary in some areas where the situation has improved. Would that be acceptable to the army? Would the army come on board? Because without the army's support, in many ways, this peace process cannot move forward.
Barkha, let's accept first of all that we are living in a democracy. It's not a question that the army can dictate what it wants. There will be a tremendous amount of consultation, and I'm sure some amount of consultation has already taken place. And there have to be pragmatism about all this. But having said that, let me state that coming to an understanding or an agreement, as Mr. Patra says, on this kind of an issue doesn't mean that the execution is going to start tomorrow or even today. This is something which is going to be dictated by pragmatism. Everyone is going to look at this, look at the security situation. We have actually won over the security situation in our favor through 25 years of tremendous sacrifice. I'm sure both the parties accept that.
Yeah.
And both the parties are going to be realistic about it. And I think the understanding broadly on AFSPA is that we will move on. And we are looking at an end state in which ultimately the army will be replaced by the Jammu and Kashmir police and the central armed police organizations. But I'm not sure whether at the current moment the police organizations in Jammu and Kashmir are actually capable on taking on this kind of a responsibility from the army. This is something which will have to be thought through and discussed very, very seriously.
Radha, if I can get you to come in on the messaging that Sajad Lone being part of this government actually reinforces. I mean, there are many ironies there. The ironies are not just of the BJPs who considered Shyama Prasad Mukherjee their ideological mentor today being in partnership with the PDP. The irony is also that Sajad is married to a Pakistani citizen who actually campaigned with him for these elections. His brother is a Hurriyat Conference leader. His father-in-law is the founder of the separatist Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front. He lives in Pakistan even today. And here is Sajad, part of the government. What is this a really important message that's going out to other separatist groups today?
I think that Sajad Lone's message goes out to two different constituencies. One is to the youth and of course to the constituencies in which his party people have won, and that is the governance focus. Sajad, of course, in his vision document spelt out a vision for economic liberalization, or one may say liberation from state controls, which I think is absolutely critical for this government to look at today. It should be a priority, actually. Now, the second is the question of peacemaking. As I recall, Sajad, amongst others, like his brother, Professor Ghani Bhatt and Mirwais, was very much a part of supporting back-channel ceasefire and peace negotiations for a solution. And I presume that he would also therefore offer some advice on how some of those tracks could be revived.
Very interesting moment. Now, Nirmal Singh, very interesting story here. There are many ironies of history. Nirmal Singh, the next Deputy Chief Minister of the BJP, is the son of somebody who used to be the personal guard to Maharaja Hari Singh. Today, Maharaja Hari Singh, the last king of Jammu and Kashmir, so to speak, his grandsons, one of them in the PDP, one of them in the BJP, are not in the cabinet, but he, the son of that former personal guard to the former Maharaja, leading the state along with Mufti Muhammad Said. He spoke to me a short while ago on whether for the BJP, Article 370 is now a closed subject or could it be revisited in the future. Many congratulations, Nirmal Singh ji. It's a big day. सबसे बड़ा अहमियत इस डे का क्या है? What is the biggest significance?
देखिए, जम्मू कश्मीर का इतिहास जो है एक नए दौर में गुजरने जा रहा है, क्योंकि ये पहली दफ़ा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी जम्मू कश्मीर में सरकार में आएगी। और बड़ी अच्छी बात है कि जो कश्मीर में जो पीडीपी है जी, जिनका वहाँ पर बहुत बड़ा प्रभाव है, और जम्मू जो है, ये दोनों पार्टियां जो हैं जम्मू कश्मीर को एक नई सरकार देंगी, एक स्थायी सरकार, एक ऐसी सरकार जिसमें जो कि करप्शन से जो है मुक्त है, और आने वाले समय में जम्मू कश्मीर की समस्याओं को लेते हुए हम जो है आगे जाएंगे। उनको लेकिन जो आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंसेस हैं, जैसे बीजेपी को मानना पड़ा कि 370 को ना बदला जाए, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल जो उसका स्टेटस है वो रहने दिया जाए, तो आपके जो कोर सपोर्टर्स हैं जिनको आपने मैनिफेस्टो में कुछ और बोला था 2014 में, उनको आज आप क्या बोलेंगे? देखिए, हमारे मैनिफेस्टो में ये सारी बातें थी और हमारे एजेंडे पर हैं जी, ये हमने अभी भी हैं, लेकिन हमने ये स्वीकार किया है कि ये जो अलायंस है गवर्नेंस अलायंस है, क्योंकि लोगों ने जो मैंडेट दिया है वो इस तरह का दिया है ताकि वो चाहते हैं कि जम्मू कश्मीर में एक अच्छी सरकार बने और जो लोगों को राहत दे सके। तो इसलिए उसी को देखते हुए हमने कहा है कि बाकी चीज़ों के ऊपर जब CMP आएगा, आपके ध्यान में बातें आएंगी, बड़ा ब्यूटीफुली उसके साथ डील किया गया है और पक्के तौर पर हर आदमी को विश्वास होगा कि हमारी बात कही गई है। और जो अभी वक्त की बात है, जो जरूरत है जम्मू कश्मीर को, उसको देखते हुए ये सारे प्रोग्राम
पर माना जाए कि फ्यूचर में 370 दोबारा एक डिबेट है जो खोली जा सकती है बीजेपी की, ये परमानेंटली खत्म हो गई है।
देखिए, खत्म होने की बात नहीं है, हमारे डिफरेंसेस है। जिस दिन जम्मू कश्मीर में कोई इस प्रकार का मैंडेट आएगा उस वक्त जो है पार्टी डिसाइड करेगी सारा कि कैसे आगे बढ़ना है।
अच्छा, मैम से पूछने से पहले आपसे पूछूंगी, मैंने कहीं पढ़ा दैट योर फादर वाज विद महाराजा हरी सिंह इन हिज स्टाफ। आज महाराजा हरी सिंह के ग्रैंडसन जो हैं दोनों कैबिनेट के बाहर और आप है डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर, इसको क्या डेमोक्रेसी की एक पोइट्री माने?
हाँ, यही तो लोकतंत्र है और भारत के लोकतंत्र की यही खूबसूरती है। और क्योंकि जम्मू कश्मीर एक भारत का अंग है, यहाँ डेमोक्रेसी है, ये और पनपे और पूरी दुनिया को हम एक संदेश दे पाए, इसके लिए आज का दिन बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है।
मैम, योर थॉट्स टुडे एज निर्मल सिंह जी इज अबाउट टू बिकम डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर। और जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि एक कोई टाइम था जब इनके फादर पर्सनल गार्ड थे महाराजा हरी सिंह के, आज ना अजातशत्रु ना विक्रमादित्य कैबिनेट में और निर्मल सिंह डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर। तो योर थॉट्स टुडे, आप क्या कहेंगे?
आज का यही है कि जनता ने जो हमें मैंडेट दिया है उसको हम सिर माथे पर करते, और उसका ये है कि ऐसे जो सीएम और डिप्टी सीएम की आज हो रही है, उसमें हम यही कहेंगे कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो एक इतिहास रचने जा रहा है, और खासकर मैं महिलाओं के लिए ये कहूँगी कि हम भी आज ऐसे लग रहा है कि ऐसे सुरक्षित महसूस
कर रहे हैं। अब जम्मू वर्सेस कश्मीर का जो डिवाइड है उसको हिंदू वर्सेस मुस्लिम ना होने में कैसे आप रोकेंगे?
देखिए, ये मैंडेट ऐसा है और जिस प्रकार से पीडीपी और बीजेपी सरकार बना रही है, ये जितने भी जो दूरियां हैं ये कम होंगी और उन दूरियों को और ज़्यादा जो है हम कम करने के लिए पूरे सरकार 6 साल काम करेगी। और यही नहीं कि जो कि लोगों की आवश्यकता है, ज़रूरत की चीज़ें हैं, यहाँ पर एम्प्लॉयमेंट की ज़रूरत है, रिफ्यूजी
पाकिस्तान के जो रेफ्यूजीज हैं, उससे कोई एश्योरेंस मिला पीडीपी से आपको?
देखिए, सीएमपी में सारी बातें आएंगी, लेकिन वो जम्मू कश्मीर की धरती पर है, भारत के जो शहरी हैं उनका जो जम्मा सरकार को है वो जम्मा पूरा निभाएगी।
तो लास्ट थॉट्स, जो आपके वोटर्स हैं जो कहेंगे कि भाई आपने अपना आइडियोलॉजिकल कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लिया है, आपने बिट्रेयल कर दिया है, उस पर आप क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए, बिल्कुल नहीं, जम्मू कश्मीर में बहुत खुशी है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी और पीडीपी सरकार बना रहे हैं और वही हमारी जो स्ट्रेंथ है। और आने वाले वक्त में आप देखेंगे कि सारी जो है डिफरेंसेस होने के बावजूद भी एक अच्छी सरकार हम देंगे।
Congratulations, Nirmal Singh, next Deputy Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, and congratulations to you, ma'am, as well. All right, that was Nirmal Singh there, the Deputy Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, talking exclusively to us, very interestingly saying that the mandate was such that you had to actually reach a middle ground on issues like Article 370, but also saying that in the future, if the mandate ever changes, the BJP could revisit that. And as you can see, we're almost being swept away by the winds here in Jammu. Meanwhile, inside the auditorium, Abdul Ghani Kohli, the Muslim MLA from the BJP. This is very interesting because while we've spoken about a Jammu versus Kashmir divide, the BJP actually did well in some of the Muslim, high Muslim population areas in the Jammu region. And Abdul Ghani from Rajouri has been sworn in as a minister. And they may, of course, see Sajad Lone as somebody who's come from their quota as well, because Sajad Lone was among the first to reach out to the BJP and to Narendra Modi. Now, Sambit Patra, let me bring you in on this point. Very important messaging is also that the BJP is in government in the only Muslim majority state of India, that you actually have also a Muslim minister who's from the BJP. You have Sajad Lone, who is virtually in many ways your ally, who's also in the government. But talk about what Nirmal Singh, the next Deputy Chief Minister, told me, that the mandate is such that right now we can't agree on 370. This doesn't mean it's closed forever.
Two things, as far as Barkha, you pointing out,
isn't it effectively buried, Sambit?
No, I'll come to the question that you've asked. You've asked two questions. One, that we have Muslim people from Jammu who have elected as MLA, being sworn in as Chief Minister, and we are having an alliance in Jammu Kashmir with a principally Muslim party. And this is the reason as to why I say that we do not have to discuss any more about Ghar Wapsi, and every second sentence of our debate should not be on words like Ghar Wapsi and all. So, Barkha, we have to give that up. The debates, the intention of Bharatiya Janata Party is absolutely clear. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Now, coming to the second important part of 370 that you had asked Mr. Nirmal Singh. Now, today is an important day, and since the swearing-in ceremony is going on, I have to be very cautious with my words, measured and calibrated with my words. I would say that in a refrigerator, there is something called as deep freezer as well. So certain issues on which we have only an understanding and not an agreement, definitely the refrigerator's freezer compartment is for them. Thawing and bringing it out is always a possibility in the future when the mandate orders so as put by Mr. Nirmal Singh.
Okay, Zafar Miraj, the Jammu versus Kashmir divide should not become a Hindu versus Muslim divide. And to that extent, it is interesting and significant to see the BJP bringing in a Muslim representative from their party.
Yes, definitely. And it is the mature decision of BJP to bring in Abdul Ghani Kohli, who has been the lone Muslim candidate who has won on the BJP ticket. And besides it, we have to, the two parties and the new government have to work hard to bring in the two regions which definitely have differences, which definitely have different ideas, which definitely have different ideologies on similar certain issues, to bring them closer and bring them closer on the main issue of the governance, main issue of the development. Other issues of political nature have to be decided, have to be taken care of, but let us first start in developing
I'm going to interrupt you just for a moment because the swearing in is actually closing and the national anthem is being played. Let's just cut across to those shots to hear the anthem being played.
Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Governor, Honorable Chief.
All right, this swearing in there coming to a close, the national anthem bringing the curtains down on this historic moment. Zafar Miraj, please complete your point.
Yeah, as I was saying, that it is need of the hour that we have to bring, in fact, all the three regions, Jammu, Ladakh and Kashmir, closer to each another. Because we need development, we need rapid development. These political issues have to be taken care of. BJP has its own ideology, PDP has its own ideology, especially let me say on this 370, PDP stands committed to ensure the continuance and further strength of Article 370, which gives Jammu and Kashmir special status within the Indian Constitution, within the Indian state. So these things, BJP has been kind enough, BJP is enough, reasonable enough to agree to our stand. And in fact, they made a statement on the floor of the parliament that this issue is not being touched as far as possible in the present circumstances.
Okay. Now, General Hasnain, as we watch this group photograph that is being taken, the Prime Minister at the center, the Chief Minister on one side, the Deputy Chief Minister on the other, and the new cabinet of Jammu and Kashmir encircling them. You know Jammu and Kashmir, all of you know it very well. Did you ever think this moment would be possible? And who should we credit for both parties? Do you think the BJP's had to concede more? Because in many ways, 370 was a huge part of the Modi campaign in 2014, part of the manifesto as well.
Well, to be very frank, I wouldn't really have expected this kind of a occasion or an event maybe about 7 or 8 years ago. But I think India as a nation is moving on. We are maturing by the day. And the coming of this kind of an event actually signifies that. Having said that, when I was observing the elections, and I've said this before, I knew somehow that a single party predominance was not possible. It would be very difficult. There were divides across the Pir Panjal. What has emerged after that is actually what I also earlier said on this program, is the empowerment, the political empowerment of Jammu and the political empowerment of Kashmir coming together simultaneously. There couldn't have been a better occasion, there could not have been a better option, because all other options would have meant that it would have been a Kashmir-heavy government. And this is actually the best moment and the best option which has emerged. Having said that, I have great hopes. I have great hopes. And I know, having seen the PDP earlier in 2002, 2003, 4, 5, up to 5, I know that the Mufti Saab's leadership was of a very high order. I saw it very evident during the Uri earthquake, in which you were also there at that time, and on various other occasions, such as the snow tsunami of 2004. We have also seen the BJP in central leadership earlier at the time of the NDA government. I think all of them have displayed basic national spirit and national ideology. And basically, furtherance of national interest. And national interest is what we are seeing actually on display right on the stage there in the General Zorawar Auditorium.
Now, the swearing in has ended. The Prime Minister ended by interacting with all the newly elected MLAs, shaking hands there with Sajad Lone, who had first described him to be like an elder brother, if you remember that. And Sajad Lone today joking in that interview to me saying, I may be a small man, but I have big ideas, basically underlining the fact that when the PDP was criticizing him for reaching out to the BJP, he was the first to do so. Well, today they're all together as part of the same photo frame. Now, one of the faces of the BJP in the Kashmir Valley was Hina Shafi Bhatt. And she occupied headlines when she said any change in 370 would lead to her taking up her gun. She later said she was misquoted, but she definitely said that. She spoke to me a while earlier on her expectations and the Valley's expectations of this new government. Hina Shafi Bhatt, who contested on a BJP ticket, who made the headlines, sometimes some would say for all the wrong reasons and sometimes for the right reasons as well. She's here joining us, bright and colourful. But the colours of today really are when saffron meets green, and some would say those are the colours of the Indian flag, and of course green being the colour of the PDP, saffron being the colour identified with the BJP, and coming together as the colours of India?
Colour of peace and good governance and a stable government. I believe both the parties with two different ideological thoughts and everything, and finally we have come to a point that we need a good governance. It's so interesting you say stable government, because a lot of the skeptics are waiting to see what will be in the common minimum program. But we do know that Mufti Saab insisted that the present constitutional status of Jammu and Kashmir continue unchanged, that there should be no change in 370, and the BJP has accepted that. Now, for you, who said I'll pick up the gun if they change 370, you must be happy that your party has made this concession. Yeah, definitely. I think every Kashmiri should be happy. And definitely Mufti Saab is a stalwart politician, and he's been a home minister. So definitely whatever the deal, I would say not the deal would be the appropriate word. That's why it took such a long time for both the parties. And this is the day finally we have come. But you know, isn't it a risk for the BJP? You're with the BJP. The BJP's core supporters will say in the manifesto you promised us you'll scrap 370. Now you've agreed to maintain status quo on it. Isn't this politically risky for both parties? And since you're from the BJP, isn't it politically risky that you'll alienate your core constituency? No, definitely not. Not risky at all. Where we are going to benefit people. Because Kashmir has already suffered, and 3 months after the election and after election results, people have been waiting. So they want a government formation there. They want the normal administration to go on. So I think both the parties have really worked from our party and from the PDP. And I think it will work, definitely. BJP couldn't open its account in the Valley, despite high-profile campaigns by people like you. Are you worried about Jammu versus Kashmir divide, where the PDP captured the Valley and BJP captured Jammu? No. I don't think so, because both the parties have really talked on that, or there'll be no polarization on Jammu and Srinagar. And PDP people, they're also sensible, as BJP people are sensible. Suddenly you're calling each other sensible after calling each other names in the campaign. Definitely. See, in politics, there are no permanent enemies. And no permanent friends either. No, definitely. But where we're going to benefit people, where there'll be a good for the people, so we have to. But tell me, on Armed Forces Special Powers Act also, the BJP may have had to make a concession from its position. You, of course, as a Kashmiri leader of the BJP, will want the act to be revoked or withdrawn. Not revoked properly, completely. To some places where there is not needed. And it has been already in a discussion that army will be taken into the consideration for this decision. And with time, let the government form. So things will be really worked on, all these issues. Acha, aaj ka din kya ahmiyat rakhta hai? Because it is so unexpected, so unlikely. Kuch common nahi. Mufti Sahab ne bola North Pole, South Pole ko ikattha laya hai. What is the significance? We believe 2 negatives makes 1 positive. Or opposites attract. So this is and it is going to be a historic change for Jammu and Kashmir. Last question, to those who criticize you people for saying the campaign mein kuch bola, abhi kuch bola, and that this is not statesmanship, this is just surrender for power. Ye aapne power ki kabze ke liye kiya hai, what would you say? For BJP, if you see, like, it's quite evident ki kya power share agar ye log bolte. You made a lot of concessions. The CM-ship is with the PDP, the finance ministry is with the PDP, home is with the PDP. So we are not power hungry. So we just want like a stable government Jammu and Kashmir mein ho.
And what are you going to be taking the oath? What role are you going to be playing?
I'll be as a sipahi of a BJP, so I'll continue that.
And you'll remain with the BJP?
I'll definitely. I am with BJP.
And what message do you think Mr. Modi is bringing today to the state?
Let's keep all these factors ki BJP में बाकी लोग क्या कहते हैं. I've always been adamant that उनका जो मोदी जी का जो vision है for Kashmir, and that has really worked. That's why we're forming a government in Jammu and Kashmir.
And you think the valley will be ready to accept him politically?
People have already accepted it. They've already given.
But you didn't win in the valley.
See, we had very little time. In just 1 month, we just started with our campaign, and it was quite difficult, you know, from the first day to start.
But you'll keep trying to open your account in the valley.
Definitely. We have already opened. We're making a government in Jammu and Kashmir, Barkha.
I know. It is a historic day.
Historic.
Congratulations to you, Hina. Thank you so much. All right, Hina Shafi Bhatt there talking about being a loyal sipahi of the BJP army in Jammu and Kashmir. Happy that her party has conceded space on Article 370. Now, Zafar Miraj, Omar Abdullah is continuing to tweet through this occasion and is criticizing Ashraf Mir, who's of course the candidate who defeated him from Sonawar, for being appointed minister, saying he's the same one who fired an AK-47 to celebrate his victory. Would you like to respond to what he said?
You know, I can only say this is an old Kashmiri saying, Pilim Nadi Tukigam. That means the English translation of that, the grapes are sour. Umar Abdullah just tried his best to join BJP, to join hands with BJP immediately after the election results were declared. He is on record having said that he is ready to work with BJP, and then one of his very close confidants went to Delhi and talked to very senior leaders of BJP, offering his national conference support in case BJP staked its claim to the power. But when he failed on this, and when he saw that Mufti Muhammad Saeed and PDP and BJP have now decided to join hands, so he has become, I think, you know, it has started troubling him. Because there are so many things which are going to be open in the open now. The misdeeds of the NC-led coalition government for the last 6 years, and so many other things. So Omar Abdullah cannot just अपनी वो जो दुख को है, वो जो गुस्से को छुपा नहीं सकते हैं, और इसीलिए वो ऐसी बातें कर रहे हैं. हालांकि ये भी हकीकत है कि अशरफ मीर ने उनको हरा दिया सोनावाल कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी से, और अशरफ मीर डिजर्व करते हैं कि उमर अब्दुल्ला जिस तलवार को, जम्मू कश्मीर के चीफ मिनिस्टर को, नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के प्रेसिडेंट को उन्होंने शिकस्त दे दी, और he deserves this seat. It was Omar Abdullah's government. He should have ordered investigation or action against Ashraf Mir there. Why did he do it?
Yes. Let me bring in Salman Soz on this. Salman, the swearing in is over. The National Conference is continuing to critique the event. PDP saying grapes are sour. Is this not a moment for India to stand together? There is a greater good involved here, isn't there?
Well, I would just say that there are plenty of days for politics. I'm sure that starting tomorrow we'll be scrutinizing every action of this government because we are in the opposition after all. But today I personally don't think that this is the day for politics. I mean, I'm actually hopeful that this government will try and do good by the people of the state. Today we'll give it a break. I mean, at least our party, I will give it a break. Starting tomorrow, we'll start our work again as the opposition. Omar can do whatever he wants. He's a free man, so maybe he thinks that's the right approach for him. I will say, though, on Article 370, I think what you hear from not just Sambit, but also from, say, Dr. Hina Bhatt, that Article 370 is essentially in the deep freeze for the BJP, perhaps until the next election. And that development can take place in spite of Article 370. In fact, that was the big criticism of the BJP, saying that 370 is holding J&K back. So I think they've agreed that 370 is not holding J&K back. It's just that we need to have good governance, we need to have good policies and a good vision. So we'll see. We'll see if they deliver. We wish them the best.
Okay, let me get Sambit Patra to come in on that. Sambit, Dr. Nirmal Singh also suggesting that 370 not closed forever. You said you like to choose your words with caution. So what would you say to that? I mean, there are references being made about how it could be opened after another election. Reopened, rather.
See, Barkha, I mean, Article 370 has been one of the most important issues on which Bharatiya Janata Party has delivered right from the very beginning. And these core issues of Article 370 or other issues of Jammu Kashmir remain close to our heart and are a part of our manifesto. But more than that, maturity calls that in Jammu and Kashmir, more than politics, it is delivery which is important. Definitely, when we will have our day in the years to come, and we believe that in the years to come, now that we have started the day, we will have our own government also, and then we will take a call. But as of now, just because political parties in Jammu and Kashmir have different views on different subjects, does not mean that subjects of Jammu and Kashmir should be exposed to poor governance, should not be or should be deprived of governance. And that's the reason as to why, with all maturity, all humility at our disposal, we have come forward to say that this is the framework of governance, this is a framework of understanding. Okay. And on a lighter note today, since it's a great day today, on a lighter note, Barkha, at the end, on a lighter note, I would say, yes, the media and you all have been saying from the very beginning that the PDP has also compromised, the BJP has also compromised. Yes. I mean, tell me today, if two people are in a relationship, how both would be compromising? It's good. If both are compromising, the compromise is only for the upliftment of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and that I believe everyone would welcome.
Okay, Samit. Okay, now as the rain comes pouring down on us, let me bring in somebody who's a veteran of Jammu and Kashmir politics, of observing them, but also Kashmiri Pandit himself, one of our most eminent commentators, Dr. Amitabh Mattu. Amitabh, big day for Jammu and Kashmir, and I've been saying despite the rain, it's really a hope for a new ray of peace, isn't it?
Absolutely, and rain in Kashmir is seen as signifying luck. I think you have a huge historic opportunity here to bring two polarized regions together. As you know, Jammu voted BJP and PDP was voted in Kashmir, and both stood for different ideologies, but they have come together, and in that accommodation lies the future, lies the possibilities of real reconciliation, not just between Kashmir and India and Delhi, but between Kashmir, Jammu and Ladakh, and the possibility of the return of the Kashmiri Pandits. I think you have, after a long time, great opportunity here.
And what is the messaging of somebody like Sajad Lone also being part of the government? You know, married to a Pakistani, father-in-law is the founder of JKLF, Amanullah Khan, brother is in the Hurriyat conference. He was joking to me earlier today in an interview. He said, I may be a small man, but I have big ideas. I was the first to spot the potential of reaching out to the BJP.
No, he is someone obviously who's extremely intelligent, articulate, and has ideas. But I think what you have said is really important, that you brought together the diversity of public opinion across Jammu and Kashmir, from soft separatists to hard nationalists. Yeah. And if you can actually work together, if you can actually provide good governance and political relief and fulfill the aspirations of the three regions, you can't have a better solution. Because if you had the possibility of what some people had described, PDP and Congress and NC come together, you would have neglected Jammu completely. And that can't happen. You have to have these three regions together because they represent a microcosm of India itself.
Now, both the National Conference and the Congress going on Twitter to actually criticize the alliance. Omar Abdullah actually staying away. I'm not sure why, but sources seem to suggest that he wasn't invited personally. Ajay Markan going on Twitter saying the BJP has no principled positions, it's completely departed from its ideology. Do you believe that there's been a political risk? And what do we make of the NC actually staying away from a swearing in?
It's unfortunate, and I don't want to make ad hominem arguments, so I won't talk about individuals. But I think everyone should be large-hearted enough at this moment, because Jammu and Kashmir is beyond party politics. It's about a wider national stake. It's about reconciliation, and I think the Congress, and I saw Mr. Soos here, which is very welcome. Yeah. I think the National Conference should also find in this moment an opportunity to become a partner, because whether you're outside government or you're inside government, I think what Jammu Kashmir requires is everyone to have a stake in building peace and prosperity.
And of course, Salman Soos is actually on the panel with us and taking the position exactly as you're saying, that today is not the day for political bickering, but Ajay Markan not clearly sharing that view. So the Congress also speaking, Amitabh, in multiple voices. But tell me, there will be now questions. Will India's Pakistan policy be shaped by Mufti Saab's great push for a reconciliation process? You're already seeing Jaishankar, the Foreign Secretary, going on a Saak Yatra, which many say is a cloak for a Pakistan Yatra. Are we going to see foreign policy recast because of this government?
Let me say this, that I was Vice Chancellor of this university where we have this fantastic auditorium, and Mufti Saab was Chief Minister, in an alliance with the Congress and with the Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee at the center. He is a visionary. Mufti Saab was able to bring together a coalition, but also act with Delhi to let Delhi see the opportunity in reconciliation. Obviously, a chief minister can't make foreign policy, but with a wise statesman like Mufti Saab, I think Prime Minister Narendra Modi too has a great friend, ally, and also, I might say, a friend, philosopher and guide.
Okay, last question briefly, Amitabh. After the Delhi debacle for the BJP, very strongly worded statement from the PDP. The alliance had not yet been signed and sealed, but issues on, concerns on Ghar Wapsi controversies, a big message of religious diversity. How will the PDP navigate those differences? Should they surface again? Of course, we had the Prime Minister making a really strong intervention in Parliament as well on those issues.
I think the Prime Minister had made that statement, if there's anyone who can work with the BJP and moderate the fringe elements, I have confidence in Mufti Saab being able to do that. I know that some people think that it's an impossible situation, but I think in this seemingly unlikely coalition lies real hope for peace and reconciliation in Jammu and Kashmir.
Amitabh Mattu, pleasure having you
so much
on the program. We'll be taking a quick break, coming back for last comments in a moment from now. All right, welcome back to our special coverage. Really, the crowds are starting to trickle out, filter out of the Zorawar auditorium where the swearing-in is now over. We have this historic moment which the Prime Minister witnessed along with the top brass of the BJP. The National Conference stayed away, but Sajad Lone, separatist-turned-politician, is now part of the government. Nirmal Singh is Deputy Chief Minister, and of course Mufti Mohammed Saeed now officially the Chief Minister. Let me get brief last comments from a panel. Of course, my colleagues Zafar Iqbal joining me from Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi from inside that auditorium. But very quickly, 30 seconds to all of our panelists on what the biggest difficulty or the biggest challenge will be before the government. Zafar Miraj, I'll start with you. 30 seconds.
People in Jammu and Kashmir have huge expectations from the new government. And I wish and I hope that the new government, new dispensation delivers on all those issues which are concerned to people. Not only on the governance and the development, but also address the political dimensions of the Kashmir, which are very peculiar, which are very different. And I am happy to say that the central government agreed to, on this issue also, for example, as Mufti Mohammed Saeed other day said, that establishing good relations with Pakistan, initiating a positive and meaningful dialogue with all those stakeholders in Kashmir, that includes Hurriyat and separatists, and then bringing the two Kashmirs closer.
Let me get Sambit Patra to respond to that. Sambit, Pakistan policy with the Hurriyat changing because of this government? 30 seconds.
30 seconds, 4 quick points. First, my heart goes out for Mr. Taplu and all other innumerable BJP workers who laid down their lives, in fact, in the yesteryears to see to it that BJP ultimately comes to power. Secondly, today I could see in the swearing-in ceremony and otherwise also, Mr. Modi was the rallying point around which the whole idea of Kashmir revolved. We believe that Kashmiriyat, Insaniyat of Mr. Vajpayee and Mr. Modi will see to it that the two Kashmirs that right now my counterpart was speaking about will come together. And I remember in the yesterday's press conference, Mr. Mufti had rightly said, though it is only 20 minutes distance air-wise, Jammu and the valley, but ironically it is miles apart, and this is what we want to see, the equitable distribution of resources between the valley, between Jammu and Ladakh. Okay, as LK Advani drives right behind me, he's actually in that car right there. Right, that's the car taking LK Advani out. Amit Shah also following him. Murli Manohar Joshi also here. Let me take it to Salman Sols for a brief last word. Salman, you're trying to be politically mature. Ajay Makan thinking otherwise on Twitter.
Well, look, I mean, on this day, what I would think is that the new government must gear up the administration to deal with the aftermath of the flooding, because that remains a major task. And also, as for reconciliation, I think thinking about how Kashmiri migrants, Kashmiri Pandits and other migrants can be given an opportunity to move back, that is another a great task in front of the government. If these kinds of issues can be dealt with, it would be terrific. And all the best to the government.
Okay, General Hasnain, 30 seconds.
Well, Barkha, while savouring the moment as I started right at the beginning, I would also advise the new government to protect us back. Kashmir is an unpredictable place. Jammu and Kashmir is very unpredictable. Sometimes there can be triggers which can scuttle everything. You have to be careful about that. But having said that, it is development and it is administration. Bringing proper bandobast down to the last man. That is the real challenge of this government.
Yeah. Okay, Radha Kumar, last thoughts as we go to Zafar and Nazir.
The biggest challenge for them is going to be delivery. The common minimum program will set out their goals and their commitments, and people will expect real-time delivery, which means you have to tackle corruption, you have to tackle nepotism, you have to restore much better human rights, and you have to unshackle state controls over the economy. That's the beginning, I would say. Then come, of course, the big issues of whether it's reconciliation or bridge building between Jammu and the valley. The question of the development of Ladakh, which has been missing really in this conversation, has to be brought back.
Yes. Yes, important point, a reminder of Ladakh, and we will address that in our reportage through the day. Radha Kumar, Jalal Hussain, Sambit Patra, Zafar Miraj and Salman Soz, thank you for your time. Over now to my colleague Zafar in Srinagar, Nazir inside the auditorium. Nazir, we saw in this ceremony Mr. Modi actually interacting with everybody, the new elected team. We saw Sajad Lone being part of the government. We saw the National Conference staying away, which is quite unprecedented. But what for you as a reporter who's covered Jammu and Kashmir for years is the most surprising thing you saw today that you never thought you would see in years?
Surprising thing is the BJP-PDP coming together. BJP that was talking about the abrogation of Article 370, its members and now ministers took, oath. They swear by this, having faith and allegiance to the constitution of Jammu and Kashmir. And the PDP, which was talking about the self-rule, has to now tone down its position and now say we have to maintain the present position. And again, there were the people who, these ministers who took oath, they were asserting, many of them were asserting their religious, their regional and their linguistic identity as well when they used the language. They were asserting their identity. That was showing, kind of, divide narrative and the divide between the two. They are trying to bridge that divide. Will they bridge that divide? That would be the biggest challenge for the Mufti Muhammad Saeed, because we have seen the response to this alliance was muted. There was no celebration anywhere. And we have seen there was not much enthusiasm within the crowd here who have come here. That was a selected gathering who were called.
But of course, the guests, of course, Nazir, of course, the guests. Nazir, of course, the guests here are invited relatives and family friends, so we can't really see them at the crowd response. But I think you make the very interesting point about asserting religion, regional and linguistic identities. Now, we just want to play for you some shots as we go to Zafar of the Prime Minister driving out from here. He hasn't spoken. Some thought there might be a joint statement between him and the new Chief Minister, but there was another hug on the stage. And as he drove out, he waved to the waiting media. Didn't say anything, but he waved. And let's bring those shots up for you. Zafar, how is the valley watching this? It's raining here in Jammu, but is everybody glued to the television sets there?
Well, it's raining here as well, Barkha. It's raining very hard since the morning, but people are watching on the television. But on the whole, not much enthusiasm, a sense of indifference, perhaps fatigue also, because it's been more than 2 months and we don't have a government in place. But now, finally, there is a government and people feel that it would be perhaps the first step towards flood, rehabilitation of people and other issues. That's the governance issues. But at the same time, they are looking very carefully at the political issues. Remember, the PDP has been raking up those issues of Armed Force Special Powers Act and Article 370 all along in their election campaigning, and even after the elections and the BJP in Jammu, obviously the West Pakistani refugees. So how are they going to address those issues? That's the big question that everybody is asking here. But people say that it's an unnatural alliance. They're ideologically different, both of these parties, but perhaps for the betterment of the state, both the regions of Jammu and Kashmir needed representation, and that's perhaps one silver lining. But I'm also joined by some students here.
In these
do you think that it will work on the ground? This coalition.
This is indeed going to be an assistant for both the parties, as we have been watching that there had been some issues which have been the bone of contention between the two parties.
Now, do you think it's a good thing for the state?
Maybe.
Yes, it's a good thing for the state. It's for the first time they are going. Now they have to work on ground. They have to resolve the issues like ASPA. That's what the people of Kashmir have voted for, so that they could resolve the issues that are, for a long process there.
So, Barkha, as you can see, people are really wanting to know what exactly the PDP is going to do about those issues. So, those are the controversial issues that they have been talking all along. And that's the reaction in the valley. It's a mixed reaction, a sense of optimism, but at the same time carefully watching how the things will pan out.